All right, let's see Hoffman. 91. There you go. That's good.
What's the goal for this pen?
We're knocking off some rust. Second time going live, getting ready for the high school season. We were in a pretty big velo phase in December, tapered down, so now we're just trying to settle in, be comfortable at 90%. It's early, still February, so I mean, if he can kind of cruise at 90% inside with some decent velo, 93, 94, we're in a good spot. Once he gets on dirt, I know he's going to be a competitor. But
he's 16, 17 years old?
Yeah, 16, 17. He's a junior. He's in his junior season right now. Starting it with the changeup. I like it.
What's the major thing we've been kind of working through recently? What's been the for the past 3 months?
Super talented two-way, was a catcher, so really athletic. Arm action was already really clean. But with that comes the need to try to extend through extra velocity, especially through the spine. So he likes to bail out a little early. So just getting him to understand a little bit more, rib cage and pelvic control, keep him compressed a little bit longer so he's not trying to reach back for that extra juice with his spine. Let everything kind of flow a little bit better.
Because he's a super athlete, right?
Super athletic guy. And that's what worked during his velo phase was a lot of athletic throwing. Infield throws, turn and burns. He hit 100, I can't remember the exact number, 100 plus on turn and burns. So I know when he gets his feet moving, he's in athletic mode, he can move really well. And he said last week he wasn't trying to push it past 90, 95%, which I like. I want him to be able to kind of throw. I mean, right now he's throwing as hard as he threw inside last year, if not harder. And he's sub-max. So
sure.
There we go. And I expected the velo to kind of dip a little bit when he went live again, just because we're in a less controlled environment. When he was sitting 95 in his pins in December or early January, late December, that's a very controlled environment.
Sure.
We're coming out of a kind of a pull down shuffle phase, so the body was already prepped for it. So him having a hitter in there changes the environment completely, and I just want him to get comfortable with that. Really good.
Started off the first hitter with a changeup. Started off this guy with a slider. You talked to him at all about pitch calling, or have you had any conversations about that, or is he just trying to mix it up as much as he can?
We haven't talked about it a ton. We've talked more about focal points, kind of where he wants to start things at. But the changeup is relatively new. He was just kind of pronating his changeup before, and you don't see a lot of high school guys with dominant changeups. So we leaned into a kick changeup, got us some good profiles. Yeah, strike, got us some good profiles in pins, and then started to dive into how he wanted to command it, making sure that the feel for it was dialed in. Adding it into catch play was huge, but it's been really consistent recently. Still a new pitch for him, so I'm interested to see how it plays in game. That was a really good one there too. 88, 2 and 17. Yeah, foul ball. That was 2 and 17 right there. That's perfect. That's the thing too. Like when he does throw harder, it kind of turns into like a power sinker for him. Obviously, he's not throwing it 94. We don't need him to, but it really does give him a good look off of that fastball. And the body's going to change over time too, so we'll see how these shapes adjust as he goes.
Absolutely. That's a big thing with high school arms, is that they're never going to be in their final form. Their profiles are going to change over the years. So
really good.
I think it's good that the guys know not to play into that so much. I that's something you reiterate with guys.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to take everything he did well and just build off of that. So it's very minor tweaks that we've been making so far, like with the rib cage stuff, with the timing of extension. It's been very small things, adding it to some drills, making sure that the correctives are dialed in. We haven't tried to make big changes. He doesn't need big changes. We have a lot of time. So I want to make sure that, as his body develops and changes in the weight room, that we keep kind of pace with that on the throwing side. Oh, yeah. Best one yet. That was the best one yet. He starts scrimmages in a few weeks. This might be his last live in-house. start scrimmages in a few weeks. He hasn't really pitched a full season before, so trying to build it up a little bit and make sure that he's actually peaking towards the end of the season. Yeah, peaking towards the end of the season when he's diving into those, 2-3 big events that he wants to hit in the summer. Going into a senior year, I know that's going to be a big one for him. He's already on the national radar, but I want him to pick out a few events to kind of showcase what he's been working on, continue to push him on boards. I'm kind of building this model off of what we did with Bryce Message last year, or honestly the last 4 years building up to the draft this last season.
Over the next 4 weeks, what's like the main goal? Also get him up to his max.
Yeah, continue to build the volume on the mound, especially the hitters. Kind of dive into a routine that we want to control during the season. Refine the pitch shapes if we need to. Like occasionally he'll get a little short with the curveball. Continue to look at that on edger, and I want to start to stay away from too much mechanical work. But I do want to make sure I keep tabs on everything. That's a big thing with the in-season training side, is that you got a second set of eyes away from the field.
Absolutely.
And we can make sure we still make those small gains that we want to make in season.
So speaking of in season, what does your role look like? Say in April, what's that back and forth look like?
Definitely, I try to stay away from too much mechanical stuff. I like to change my style of coaching based on the time of the year for guys. Obviously, definitely want to look at video, dive into some mechanics if they said they felt off, but more so just make sure that they keep their confidence, they keep their process, and I'm there, as a second voice for them if they need any help with anything. Big thing for him is just honestly letting him work, letting him fail, letting him figure out what helps him with success, staying out of the way. Don't need to be super hands-on with him. He asks really good questions. He knows what he needs to do, but he's also open to help whenever. So it's been great.
These profiles look
They're
great.
sick. We're in a great spot.
There's a ton of separation there.
We're in a great spot. One bad curveball, but again, it's depthy at 83, which I'm cool with because he's throwing this cutter here, or the slider here.
So, plays.
Last one? You want to call it? Last one?
Imagine he's going to start on his high school team.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Is there some
I'm hoping so.
thought process on how to build him up to that point?
It's going to be it's probably going to be a 2-year process for him. Hasn't started a ton of games, so we want to build that volume up over the next few years. And I think that's what scouts do like to see, low mileage arms with upside like him. So that's a little in. Yeah, especially knowing that our big events, I want him to be able to compete in the high school season, but we have big events in the summer, so making sure that we are peaking at that point so that we don't need to rush to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 innings in the high school season. We can be peaking towards the end of that. Huh? Was that a changeup? Yeah, go changeup. Throw a really good one, and then occasionally it'll turn to the smaller one, but the smaller one is still 83 with -5. Hey, don't try to do too much. If it's right on right, don't try to do too much. He does a great job of mixing everything, too.
Yeah, he's throwing a good chunk of each pitch.
Yeah.
Very good usages there.
Yeah, he would probably have no problem blowing up guys with the fastball, especially with his profile. But I really like that he's expanding what he uses. Shapes are solid, dude. We're in a great spot there. 93.6 average on the heater, 86.7 on the slider. Changeup was 88. You only threw one bad one. It was the one you just yanked at the end. Yeah. And then curveball was average 82. Even on we'll say the smaller ones like that, -5, -5 and -6 at 83 is gross. Yeah. Then when you actually get around it a little bit more, you get the -15s. So I want to try to make this a little bit more consistent.
Yeah.
If we do end up more in the middle here, like 10 and 10, I'm cool with that.
What was the slider at? Pretty all similar.
Yeah, 8, -3. No, I'm really happy. If you do get a lift on it, that means you're just underneath it, just a tad, just a tad.
That's what happened on my last one. I got under it. It was top road.
Yeah. But you averaged 20 on the heater, so we're in a great spot.
2,700.
Yep, 26.95 was the average.
Bro, that's stupid how much that little amount changes in spin. Normally I'm 25, sometimes pushing 26, but now I'm like 27, almost 27 with the tap.
I saw something. 28.
Yeah, slider was slider average 28.43, curveball average 27. The thing with those minor league balls too is once you start using them a little bit, they start to get a little sticky. And then you combine that with a little sweat, a little rosin.
Imagine if I get the baseball ball
With the lasers. Yeah. You're gonna be able to spin the shit out
the
of it.
peak on here with Velo.
94.6? 94.6. Is that higher than last week?
Yeah. That was like I hit 94 once, but I think on here I read like 93.
Okay.
So I'm
No, we're in a good
a
spot.
tick higher.
Yeah, let's go live. Try to go live next week outside. I just want to see where you're
I
at.
think just basically because I think I'm still kind of recovering from last week too.
Yeah.
And I think like I could throw the off speed higher, but I just couldn't get as much out of the heater as usual, like from like a month ago. So I like where I'm at with that.
When the curveball shortens up, do you feel like you're getting to the front of it? Or you feel like you're a little bit still on the side? Okay.
I kind of see.
Yeah.
Because when I get on the side, I leave it in a little bit. And then
Yep.
when I get around it, it's like middle.
Yeah. We need to try to dial that in a little bit.
Like when I throw it,
But I really like where the slider's at too. If we want, we could separate the slider into a cutter and a gyro. But right now, with it being 87,
that's
like
what it is right now.
it's a little lifty. But you threw one here at 86, 3 and -6.
What was
So
the
like
one that was 88? That one? So that was just like
a little cuttery.
Yeah, cuttery.
But dude,
It had big movement.
this is what happens though with a lot of guys that throw the slider. If they miss up with it, like a hard slider, some kind of in that slutter range, when they miss up, it'll carry a little bit more, and it works. It works fine.
And then with these down here, like I got around them and
Yeah, you get downhill just a little bit more on them, so you'll see like that one was 10 there. Let's see this one here. That was the 7. That's the 9. Where's that 5? There, that one there. I think you got a swing and miss on that one, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
That was a 31.
Yeah. That one you just get on top of, and you still rip firm wrist, but you're just on top of it.
What does this mean? Is this just spin axis?
Yeah, that's your tilt. So your
Tilt
tilt,
is like
it's here. So it's spinning. It doesn't have perfect gyro spin. Bullet. It doesn't have perfect bullet spin. It's just a little bit tilted up.
so. How do we get it to?
You need to get on top of it a little bit more, yeah, so that you're just pulling down on it versus what happens when it lifts. You're still ripping through it firm wrist, but you're on the side of it.
So if I get in front of it and just rip through it, like that's gonna be money. Like
Yeah, I think we just need to get on top of it. That's part of like you being able to get back like a little bit more north to south with stuff. So, and outside, I think that's going to help being able to get the cleats in the dirt. I think that'll clean some things up for you.